Hey, what's up, everybody? You're tuned in to the HBCU Coaches Corner. I am the trusty co-host, Rocky, and we have our contributor, our number one contributor, Bishop Campbell, here with, and we're waiting on Coach to arrive. But in the meantime, until Coach gets here, you know, there's so much going on in football right now, Coach Bishop Campbell. There's so much going on, and I must admit, there's also so much misinformation out there, right? But before we get into straightening everything out, first I want to welcome everybody to the show. Please like and subscribe to the channel. If in fact you are watching on off script, mosey on over at some point to Rocky Miller and also subscribe there as well. So again, I want to make sure that you guys have an opportunity to subscribe because not all of our content will appear on off script. But if you happen to see some of the other content we have that is not featured on off script, I want you to be able to have access to that as well and be notified when we go live. So I definitely want to make sure that you continue to like and subscribe. All right, Bishop Campbell, there's so much going on in college sports, college football in particular, with the transfer portal opening up. There's been a lot of conversation about what's going on at Colorado. You know, Prime has that way of making news and causing a ruckus all over the landscape of college football and sports in general. And there was a situation came up that Scotty pinpointed on one of his shows, and I think you have the expertise to kind of straighten things out about that. And so, for the lack of a better, I'll step aside while Bishop Campbell gives us kind of like a NIL 101, right? And I'll step back and let you do your thing so you can explain what's going on with NIL and how it impacts a player's, the transfer portal and all those things. Go ahead, Bishop Campbell.
Well, I think what we want to do, we're going to do a tease. We're going to give him a little bit because, of course, we want to hear Coach Cole's opinion on it. But you've heard a lot, and again, about Cormani McClain and other athletes and them getting in the portal and them getting paid. That's what we hear. They got paid, and now they're leaving. And I think what I've seen a lot of comments is that, oh, he got paid. He should have and he's not doing this or whatever. He's not doing what he's supposed to do. And I'll get in more depth. I'm just talking about overall right now. But I want people to understand these kids, and this is by law, they are not there to pay for play. Any deal that they have is a strict marketing deal. So if a kid doesn't go to class, if a kid doesn't perform on the field, has nothing to do with his NIL deal, because his NIL deal is name, image, and likeness. And in most states, has nothing to do with the school. It is set up by an outside collective or a private individual that does the contract directly with the athlete. So when I hear people saying that, oh, Cormani McClain, I'll now use his name, didn't earn his money, well, maybe he did. Because his NIL deal should be for, and I'll kind of just list it on a couple of things, should be in an ad campaign, ads on his social media, selling merchandise, being in camps, partnering in a business, memorabilia. These are the paid appearances. Yeah, paid appearances. So these are the things that they get paid to do. Did you hear anywhere where it said that he catches a touchdown or intercepts a ball, that he gets paid for that? Or if he's all conference or all American? No, you didn't. And this is what people need to understand. And this is what is very interesting how this plays out. Because you have one force over here saying, you didn't earn your money, right? But the NCAA has given these kids a nice little escape ramp to say, you know what? If you want to pay them, understand what you're paying them for. And it has nothing to do with their ability on the field. It has all to do with marketing whatever contract that they're in. So I think what we want to talk about really is what this means, who are the people that set it up. And those are things I kind of want to kind of delve into, tonight, especially because I want to ask Coach Cole, from a coach's standpoint, what does he think about this? and things like that. But yeah, the NIL, I think, is just the most misunderstood thing in the college game right now.
Well, let me ask you this. This is just as we bring Coach Cole on, I want to make sure that we acknowledge the star of the show, the reason why we're all here, and that's none other than the swag legend himself, Johnnie Cole. Coach Cole, how you doing?
What's going on, man? How y'all guys doing, man? Shoot, I tell you what, living out here on the Pacific Coast, man, you know, you guys are way ahead of me. When you sleeping, I'm just now getting up. You know, so I gotta keep up with all this Mountain Time, Pacific Time, Central Time, Eastern Time. You know, so you know, we got a special guest on. I think we got him straight now, but I'm excited to be here and ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, Coach. While we were waiting on you to come on. Bishop Campbell was, because he has a extensive history and experience dealing with contracts and being a sports agent himself. He wanted to clear some misnomers up about NIL, and basically you can go ahead and repeat kind of concisely what you said about NIL, and then we'll go ahead to Coach Keith.
Yeah, well, Coach, and like I said, I would love to have this conversation. We have a misunderstanding where people think NIL is pay for play, and it's not. It has nothing to do with anything they do on the football field. And we are hearing a lot of fans who are getting upset with players because maybe they didn't produce. Now, and they're in the portal, and they're saying, we paid this guy $25,000 and he didn't produce. No, you didn't pay him $25,000 for that. And I think what we should need to do is give people the information, because when you hear this is where a lot of these kids are getting vitriol from, because they say, hey, they paid this guy $250,000 to play at Colorado, to play at Mississippi State, to play at Alabama. No, they didn't. And I think that's what a lot of confusion causes with these players, because what they pay these kids are to market some product. Now, even though we never see the product, but the contract that they're signing is for some product or for something that they needed them to do as an appearance or something like that. Has nothing to do with football. So I kind of want to just talk about that and, set the record straight, because, that's what we do over here on the Coach's Corner.
Well, of course, it has something to do with football because they football players, that exactly, but the collective is with the university, but the NIL is with different companies. And then, as you say, I'm giving you this money because I think that this is what you're going to do, A, B, C. None of that's guaranteed, you know what I mean? And that has nothing to do with basically the university, besides that you're on the team, unless the university is trying to take your jersey and sell it, your name, but that, man, you only got a few of those players. Now, when you see all these guys jumping in the portal to go get some money, that's from the collective. That's from the university saying, okay, hey, you this, you that, all right, you worth this. This is what we're going to give you to come over here and play, to transfer and play. As far as the fan base is concerned, it has nothing to do with the kids' performance.
Let me ask Bishop Campbell something, because this is something we actually there's a collective in our office building that runs Baylor's collective, right? And one of the things they repeatedly say over and over again when we talk to them and talk to coaches, we are not connected to the school or the football program.
That is 100% fact.
They say that like 3 or 4 times in every conversation that I've ever had with them. So I just wanted to let's clear that up. Right. That school has nothing to do with the collective. And matter of fact, and again, I pulled this up because this is one of the things that actually happened to FSU, because FSU had a kid that they were trying to get. And the coach picked the kid up and took him to the booster. And the booster offered him, now, mind you, you cannot offer an NIL deal until the kid signs with the school. Okay? The outside collective, not the school. The school has nothing to do with it, not the coaches, not anybody. And the boosters cannot do this. Okay? This has to be a separate entity. Well, what happened was
which we all know how like I said, we're not stupid. We understand, but I'm just talking about how you get in trouble. The coach picked the kid up, took him to the booster's house, and the booster said, "We'll give you $15,000 if you come to Florida State. We'll give you $15,000 if you come to Florida State."
Wow.
Hey, Coach,
So
we're gonna finish this conversation.
Yeah.
But we have we're excited to bring on a very special guest, our featured guest today, Coach. I didn't even give him a teaser this time, Coach Cole. I told him I let him jump all on, and you're gonna surprise him once again. You're gonna do it like you always do. Bring one of your friends, one of your colleagues on as a guest on the show. Give them share our platform with them, and allow them to promote and share their vision for their program. And this guy was very successful at Allen University, which is in South Carolina. He has moved to the big city of Atlanta, Georgia. I'd like to welcome Coach Keaton, the head coach of Clark Atlanta University, head football coach. Thank you for joining us, Coach Keaton.
Man, my pleasure. The pleasure is all mine.
Man, well, I need to ask something, because you seen Murray last night with the Denver Nuggets. He one of the underrated players in the league. You looking at one of the underrated or not rated enough, one of the HBCU coaches. He's a stand-up guy. He talks the talk and he walks the walk, and he looks after for his own, man. I just want to say that. And coach is a straight-laced guy, man. Hey, we've just talked on the phone, Rocky, and I know that he's a winner. He's won everywhere he's been. He turned around Allen College, and we'll talk about that tonight. That they hadn't had a winning season in years and years and years. We talking about a school who got 700 people. They beat everybody in SIAC just about. So
wow.
We ain't gonna downplay this introduction, Coach. And I just want to say, man, you special. I appreciate you taking time out, because it's 8:30 out there, and shoot, it's 5:30 here, or a little bit past. So I want to thank you, man. And I want to jump right in it, and I want to come on. Hey, Rocky, man, how did you turn Allen? What is it? College, university? When you got there, they ain't even had uniforms, suits. They ain't have a football field. He drugging from the dirt, Rob.
Well, I think it's a collective. First of all, thank y'all for the introduction. I grew up watching Johnnie Cole, LC Cole, the Cole brothers, my guy at Pete Richardson. I used to go to the SWAC when I first, found out about the Cole brothers. I was a student in high school, and we used to go to the Turkey Day Classic and in the Magic City Classic, and I fell in love with, some guys who had that swag. I'm one of those people that, a lot of people hate Dion because Dion has been Dion for all his life, but the Cole brothers were very present and had a presence in Black college football that was undeniable, the best. And Johnnie Cole, you talking to the legend. They call him Ball Game. Ball Game was the guy who really inspired me to be an offensive coach. I mean, he didn't know how much I admired him and his brother and what they did. And when he talk about being straight, I talk about what other people did in this game or what they may have been accused of, and they still get jobs. And you talk about you took two of the most legendary coaches out the game. Well, one of them I was able to get back in the game. So that's how I was able to turn Allen University around. LC Cole is arguably one of the best defensive coordinators out there, even better man. You can't believe what people say and what other people talk about. We're talking about a stand-up guy who's old enough to be my father, but he's a guy that's came on my staff and been nothing but straight up, straight guy. He helps me with decisions, and I've always prided myself about being around people. I don't hire people just because I like them. I hire them because they can add value or they can create value for whatever I'm trying to do or what I'm trying to build. And I think as Black men, we have to do a better job of respecting the people who laid the way for us and did things that were, not necessarily they didn't get the publicity that we're able to get. They didn't have platforms to get on that y'all have created now that gives us the opportunity to be on and sell our programs and do those type things. But in this world of the internet now you got a chance and an opportunity to be able to go out to players and find a place like Allen University was unknown. I didn't even know Allen University existed. I didn't been to Columbia, South Carolina on a numerous occasions. A well-known fact, my cousin Marvin Orange, he was Mr. Basketball of South Carolina in 1992. So when I went over to South Carolina, we used to be in Orangeburg and all those places to watch him play at Irmo High School, and I never knew that Allen existed. And then I finally got a chance to go over and see it, and it was a shopping center. I have a tremendous amount of respect for the work, the body of work that the bishop and everybody had done at that college and the way that it stands for. It'll always have a special place in my heart, but it's a place that I felt that if you went there, we had no practice field, we had no locker room, we had no weight room, we had no place to play, we had no balls, we had no resemblance of football ever being there. So when I just hit the ground working. I was by myself from January to early July until a guy named Tommy Brown joined me on my staff. But in June, I had recruited 65 players to play football and in school, in college for the summer school, so we could play in August. And I did that all by myself. And, and then every year we won 2 the first year, 3 the second year, 4 the third year. Then we turned around and we lost because we kind of was trying to change defenses and doing things. And so we went 2-7. And then the very next year we went 7-3. And now I'm the head football coach at Clark Atlanta University.
Hey, Coach, I want to clarify something because I don't think people really understand the heavy lift. I actually sponsored Allen University a couple years ago. Allen didn't have a football team, period.
That's right.
Period. I want to be clear. Now he's saying, see, people when you say we repeat, no. When he's saying that they did not, because when I came up, as a matter of fact, I must have came up there the year before because it was their homecoming. Because Allen had an amazing basketball team. They're really a great basketball school, and I think maybe the early '70s was the last time they had a football team or something around that time. And they said they were bringing football back. So I want people to understand that Allen, for 25, 30 years, did not have a football team. So I want to really give your flowers to what you really did. Not that the team was bad and you came in. No, there was no football team. I want to be clear on that.
Well, I don't like to talk too bad about Allen because, like I said, it carries a special weight in my heart because of the people I met there. Have you ever been in South Carolina? Some of them live very rural. It's some very poor areas in South Carolina. Some of them, they don't even have Wi-Fi in certain areas of parts of South Carolina. So I just got to experience something, and I didn't look at it as a work. I almost looked at it as a ministry. I got an opportunity to touch something that will change my life forever and a day. And the amount of people that we had working there, we only had 3 full-time coaches. And when we were at it, most of the people were not guys that coach high school football. These guys were just regular, normal guys who basically they just played the game at the college level and really wasn't that, that never been taught how to coach. So you basically coaching the coaches, teaching the players, and trying to get them on the same page and showing them how to run an organization, how it should be done. And a lot of them only seen what they had learned from their college coaches or their high school coaches, and just doing the day-to-day managing of a football program and making sure they graduate from school. And I'm very proud to say that I'm 75 that we bought there in 2018. We had over 65% of those kids to graduate from college, and they came from the greater city, the greater Atlanta area, from places that most people wouldn't come. So everybody that was there was called Last Chance U, basically. They had no opportunities, no NIL deals, no nothing. And for us to coach them up and put them in a position and make them believe, and just to manage that group of people without a staff was almost like, it was crazy. But I've been a part of turnarounds. I've been a part of startup programs. In 1999, I was with Theophilus Danzy. He's well known for Alcorn State. He was the defensive coordinator that was real good there, and he was at Perry View, Arkansas Pine Bluff. He's been somewhere everywhere, but he started Stillman program, and that's where I cut my teeth with a guy who taught me how to build a program from the ground up. So I got a tremendous amount of respect for Dennis Connors, Melvin Pete, who was the quarterback at Jackson State, and those guys, and Coach Pete Sr., who's dead, God rest his soul. Those were guys that helped us along the way. Big Daddy Hughes, we went over and we clinic with these guys to learn how to coach. So I kind of got an eye opener to what it was. And then by the time I was assistant coach, I remember driving to meet Johnnie or LC, one of the two. I think it was LC, but I used to drive Coach Danzy around, and I took him in, and we met them, and they was coaching Lane College at the time, and we had to take the VCR tapes, and you turn them in, and you didn't. I started taking notices. They had Lane College with Jacoby and a running back that I don't even know the running back name, but that guy was big and he ran the ball forever. But we've done. I've been around. This is year 26 for me, but I'm probably the most unknown coach that's done it, and I've had probably the top offenses in black college football for a while.
Coach, as I look over your resume, Coach, it speaks to a person who actually loves football. When you coach 5 years at Stillman College and then take on the job at Allen College and then also coach for the Odessa Roughnecks, Coach, that's a guy that loves football. And how do you coach through those circumstances without the fanfare and the pats on the backs and the cameras and all the things that we see as fans, right? When we see Ohio State and Nebraska and all those big colleges, you've coached in what I would call obscurity, yet you stuck with it all these years, Coach. What does football mean to you, and how have you been able to stick with it this long?
Well, football to me is I knew I wanted to be a coach since I was in the 7th grade. I was an average football player. I played guard for a little while. Then they moved me to fullback, and I spent more time on the scout team learning how to, coach the game than I did actually playing the game. So I fell in love with the strategic, strategies that went along with it. I watched the off-season workout programs. Shout out to Coach Hugh Fountain. Coach Hugh Fountain was, I wrote him a letter, and he pulled it out of his drawer where I had cussed him out and told him that I was a better football player than he was giving me the opportunity to play. But I really didn't realize I was really slow. I was too short, and I was 145 pounds, and he really was trying to do his best to make me out of a football player. So I really owe him an apology for the work that I'm sure it's a lot of people that owe a lot of coaches apologies, because at one point in time we thought they was messing over our careers or tearing us up. But until you get into that seat and you understand that I love it, I don't need nobody else. I'm my own supporter. I believe in me. I pat myself on the back. I carry the water till it turns to wine. I tell people all the time, you got to stay focused. You see a little, you see a lot. See a lot, see nothing. A lot of times we want to see the big picture. At one point in time in our life, we all wanted a car just to drive. But until we saw a guy pull up in a Phantom next to us, and we wanted that Phantom too. So I tell people all the time, I just always been a guy who just wanted to drive my car that I had. I got a Toyota. I want to drive the Toyota, and I'm going to keep driving it. And no matter if nobody give me the girls won't talk to me. They don't think I'm coaching. What's the name of that team? Now, where's that team that you say you coach? My grandmama asked me all the way up until I died, what team you at now? Or what team you at that can't pay the water bill? Did you get paid this month? It was a lot that went along to it. Some sacrifices was made now. I trust me on it. I lost a whole wife. I'm married to a new wife now. It's just a move. And I've been in at least 6 states, what I call slow motion football. And now I'm finally on a stage somewhere that I might have an opportunity that anybody even care about what we're doing. And now I'm getting all the attention in the world because I'm at Clark Atlanta football, and they look at my resume and see what I've done at those small places. I'm just hoping I don't get overwhelmed being at this big place.
Man, Coach, man, how, we talk about a lot of things on this show, man, and we try to spotlight coaches like yourself and stuff. And I had a talk with LC a couple days ago, and we're talking about the coaching tree. You talk about Nick Saban and his tree, Kirby Smart and his tree. For some reason in HBCUs, we don't stick together. We don't understand the tree. How can you spend more time with a guy for 2 or 3 or 4 years than you do with your own family? And then when you get that opportunity, then we go out and hire a coach that's a different color from us and put those coaches in the money position, the coordinator, the offensive coordinator. I don't know how that happened. Maybe you can explain to us or the way you see it that happens, that we don't follow our tree. We don't, and that's why we don't grow. We don't grow as an HBCU football coaching organization.
Well, Coach Cole, to be quite frankly honest, we as a race never stuck together. We don't support each other. You guys here at HBCU Football Corner could have a lot of other people that support what you do, but somebody mad because it ain't them. I got 3 coaches on my staff that are former head coaches. They're old enough to be my father. And I tell people all the time, I don't want people around me that don't add value to me. You understand what I'm saying? To create value. I think we get intimidated or we get scared, or some people just don't understand that people just need to be loyal to. I think, I don't know if you ever watched American Gangster. There was a line in that movie that when they was talking about Frank Lucas and when he had organized one of the largest crime rings coming over with the coffins and stuff, and the white guy in the movie said, there's never been a black man alive that ever organized nothing to that magnitude. And that stuck with me. And it was a racist comment, but it stuck with me. I said that any time I get in a position to be able to take care of my people, I'm going to reach back and get the people that helped me get to where I'm going now, and the people that really need the opportunity to do it. So I hire a lot of high school kid coaches, guys that I was the equipment manager one time in my life. I remember that somebody gave me an opportunity to do this. So the best thing for me to do is always look at the people that I can give an opportunity to, and what they don't know, I teach it. You see it on the big times. They hire their kids, their nephews. They can't even coach their way out of a wet paper bag, but they on the staff because they feel that they can coach them. But that's the way they keep the money within themselves. But we feel, and I know especially me and Johnnie can talk about this all day, because as black men, we don't get the shot to be offensive coordinators, or we look down upon as offensive coordinators. So when you look around the SWAC and other places, you'll see a lot of white offensive coordinators, and we'll support him. Black guy go out there and coordinate and make one bad play call. They ready to do what? Run him away. Oh, he can't coach. We talk about certain things. I'm just saying we got to learn to take care of us. So when I could get a young man, I just promoted a guy that I had a year ago that worked for Coach Cole at a high school, and he ain't coached college football but 1 year. And guess what he is to me now? He's my offensive coordinator. And he's doing a fantastic job at it too, because we have to give these people opportunities to be able to open the door so they can segue into what we're doing. Now, you guys remember at Alcorn, that guy got hired. Willie Simmons was a part of that staff, everybody else. But as soon as he got hired to go up, those people wasn't allowed to go with him. He hired somebody of a whole different, magnitude. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. See, we don't want to have that difficult conversation about what we do. And then when we get on these platforms, we change who we are. And when people tell you I keep it 100, I'm going to keep it all the way 100. Ain't nobody ever done nothing for me.
Right.
Coach, though you have coached that without the fanfare and all of that, you've actually been at the epicenter of college football, because Stillman College is in none other than Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And so with that being said, with the number of coaches that have rotated through Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and all of the issues that they've had, you've seen guys be elevated, given opportunities after being, labeled this or that. And so, with a close-up look at that, Coach.
Well, guys. I mean, we making some strides, but even when rest his soul, Archie Gunslinger Cooley, he was the innovator of the, if you want to call it the spread, you wanted to call it the Nova. He was the innovator. But when you look at his resume, Rocky and Bishop, of course Bishop, the only place he's been is Black College. And here's the man is the innovator of the spread offense. He cannot elevate nowhere else to go anywhere else. And he had to go from one Black college to the next Black college. And at one time he was out the game. So it takes one to teach one. And I think, and you might get, I would like you, Coach Keene, when you look at Black college from where you came from in the glasses that you've seen it from to now, it's to me it's not nothing exciting to see. We're out, all of us out trying to run the spread. Some of us ain't never played in spread. We're not putting up the numbers that we used to, And I think a lot of that is because you don't have older guys on the staff to teach some of these younger guys, the things about coaching. It ain't just about coaching on the field, it's about running a program in the organization.
I agree with you totally. Some of these guys they only played maybe quarterback, and then they get in and they don't know how to block it up front. They don't know how to move personnel around to go to 11 and 12, 13 personnel. They don't know how to move tight ends. They don't know how to do none of that because they only know what they know. And a lot of times, and let me tell you where I got my first start as an offensive coordinator. I was at Weber International University in Babson Park, Florida. And I was the only Black guy on that staff. And I was the offensive coordinator. Matt Leone, the offensive coordinator for North Carolina Central, was my quarterback coach. Travis Trickett was my GA. We call him Pete. Tony Panazzi, he was the defensive line coach. Now he's the defensive coordinator. He was at Kansas, other place. There's been guys that's been around me that have moved on and got greater points. Weber was ranked 88 out of 99 teams in NAIA football. And in 1 year, we took Weber from ranked 88 to 27th in the country. They hadn't had a winning season since I had gotten there. And we turned around and had back-to-back winning season. The year I go take over at Stillman, they win the Sun Conference. One thing they don't know how to do now is they don't know how to recruit. They let coaches tell. I hated when a high school coach tell me this guy, he a D2 guy. Well, I don't want him. If he a D1 guy, well, how do you know? Do you know what I think this guy will fit for you? How do you know that? You don't know what I do, what I'm looking for, what type of ability. I think a lot of them don't know how to recruit no more. So that's why you see Black college football as naked as it is. Willie Simmons was an excellent recruiter. Prime, he recruited himself. Johnnie Cole, when y'all was coaching, y'all took Tennessee State. Y'all are only coaches living today that win the OVC twice in a white conference. What that tell you? We don't got another coach that ever did that. Name one. Help me understand that.
Man, you got to go back almost close to 100 years.
That's right. But guess where you sitting at today, Johnnie Cole, who's arguably one of the best play callers in the game. You're doing a podcast when you should be coaching for somebody.
Well,
I'm dead serious. I mean, we could just keep it 100. He was one of the best innovators of the West Coast / spread offense. He had a lot of things going. I coached one of his quarterbacks in arena football from Alabama State. And I tell you what, that kid, anybody that know ball game, that's how I knew what his nickname was. If they knew him, They knew LC. You can't get a player to say nothing bad about none of them. And now that I work with them, I never say nothing bad about them. When I hear people slandering their names, well, what about all the coaches? You got a guy, and I'm going to say this, and I know it's probably going to get me in trouble here, but let me say this right here. You got a guy that got fired from Arkansas for doing something real crazy, and now he back at Arkansas, the same place that he got fired from. He back at that spot coaching there. How does that happen? Now you explain that to me, Johnny, but Johnny can't get a job nowhere.
Well, Arkansas want to win, Coach. Arkansas want to win.
But you know who hurt us? You know who hurt us? Us. It's black people. We hurt each other. We get in our positions at the power, become presidents, and we still talk about some stuff that happened in 1984. You hear me now? That's the stuff I be talking about. We forget about all that crazy stuff that went on. You go hire somebody who, truly in my mind, they brought back a guy who embarrassed them. But you see, we got P. Diddy right now in the situation he in. And if you go on YouTube and you just watch YouTube, you don't see them white folks talking about when Epstein got in trouble. They wasn't talking about that. But the only people that's talking about P. Diddy, T.D. Jakes, and everybody else is us. We trying to get likes on our podcast. We trying to get people to watch our shows because this is what we doing. We tear our own self down. But we still don't got Epstein list. But we got black folks in line. I swear they got the whole guest list. Who was there? What was going on? Come on now.
Yeah, hey, you preaching now, Coach. And what we doing is we peddle our own trauma.
That's right.
We peddle our own trauma for likes, clicks, and money, and it only hurts us in the long run. To be honest with you.
So now, when you ask that question, why? Yeah, maybe I've been behind the scenes. I don't really need that to make me feel that I need to get. I'm not gonna tear another person down just for a like or a click or get on and disgrade or tell you guys that I'm not gonna come on your show because this, and this. Or I'm gonna filter myself. They label people like me, Kanye, they label us crazy since we gonna tell the truth. And I don't need you on there because you're not gonna play into our games or whatever you want me to play in. I'm gonna coach. LC gonna be with me, and one day maybe my dream job was Alabama State. I'll say it here. I wanted to coach Alabama State one day because I used to go and I got tired of them getting beat by Tuskegee, and I said I'm gonna pull up and I'm gonna show them how to beat Tuskegee.
Hey, this is the head coach of Clark University, Coach. Hey, do we need a break?
We don't need no break. I just need you to stop me when I'm stop telling the truth.
No, we ain't stopping you, Coach. And you said a lot, Coach. Coach Cole always says that for whatever reason, the administration won't allow football in black college football to grow and be all that it can be. Have you faced some of those same obstacles as you've matriculated through your coaching career?
Real talk, because the presidents can't allow the football coach to be bigger than them. On black schools, you don't even know who the president is at most of them because they don't need to be seen. But the most two prominent people on your campus is usually your football coach, your president, and your basketball coach. But when they get too big or they getting too much attention and we're not talking about certain things, they ready for him to go. Or if he get too big for the program, pull up in a car that's a little bit more than theirs. A lot of it fall out. Nobody want to really tell the truth about this, but a lot of this fall out about women.
Well, let me say,
oh my God.
let me say this. You know, and we didn't add this about you, Coach Keaton, and let our audience know. You also as administrator. You've served on several cabinets as well in the president's office. So he just ain't a football coach. He's also an administrator. So there's things that he's privy to that some coaches ain't privy to. He knows the thinking of administration. So he's not just talking from the seat of his pants. He's talking from what he knows. And that part that I really admire about you, Coach Keaton, you know, as I say, you also is an administrator as well.
Well,
you don't sound like you. No. You ain't scared, Coach Keaton, and that's what I admire. I admire a courageous man who's willing to say what's on his mind and say what he believes. And for that reason alone, I'm gonna be watching Clark Atlanta real close this year, Coach.
There's no doubt about it. We're gonna turn the clock around, and it's gonna be faster than you think. But there's a lot of nepotism that's in black colleges. A lot of times they hire their cousins, their aunties, and they three workers down the street, and a lot of them can't even do the job that they're hired to do. And one thing I've always admired about white colleges, the PWIs, they know where their resources and their bread come from. There's not 32 million people lining up to see the math tournament. But have you guys ever wondered why we're always getting pushed to be the Tuskegee experience? Now we're being pushed to be STEM programs, and people are fund our schools for STEM programs. I've been trying to do a lot of research. Actually, you guys don't know this, but I just finished Harvard for strategic leadership and organization. So I've been trying to do a lot of research on why is black schools being pushed, even our high schools, to become STEM schools, to do this. It almost reminds me of the Tuskegee experiment. What are y'all trying to sell over here at our schools that you're not pushing to nobody else's school? And the only way we can get funded for those schools, what is it? Maybe somebody can ask Rob Bishop. Somebody tell me, what's up with the STEM program?
Well, I think it stems now. It comes from us, the data in our schools, that we're struggling with science, math, technology, and engineering. We're lagging in those areas, and our children are lagging. And
that's not true. Our kids know how to get on TikTok. My 3-year-old right now can he know the passcode to everything he got going on in this house, and he can't even go to the potty. So you can't tell me that he don't know what's going on. You got to think now. I think we don't really think about what I'm saying here. There's a reason why Tuskegee just got a $20 million donation, but it want to stay anonymous. But what it was used for was to push the STEM programs. Why?
Well, Coach, I'll play devil's advocate. I'll be the devil's advocate. You say your 3-year-old. Right, your 3-year-old knows how to use TikTok. Well, here's what I'll say from the STEM side. I don't want your 3-year-old to know how to use TikTok. What I want your 3-year-old to do is to create the next TikTok, because that's where So maybe that's where, when you look at, and I had this conversation with some kids I mentored. You're not going to see big steel companies being created anymore. You're not going to see big car companies going to create it. But you will see technology companies that have value that don't have a building in sight. So maybe we do need to get in this game, Coach, because that's where billions are being created. So I do understand we also got to make sure why people are funding us, but we also got to understand where the future does lie. So we do need it, because see, what we don't see, this is a problem. We're on TikTok, everything that you said. TikTok, we didn't create that. Twitter, we didn't create that. So I want us to be creators in these technology spaces. So that does help us with that.
I hope Coach wasn't saying that they're going to be using us for guinea pigs. I hope they say that.
Well,
but Coach, let's get back on football a little bit. Man, you had the spring game, man, and a lot of coaches, use the spring to find players. And you was new, Coach. You just got in there. You got in there late. How would you grade yourself and your staff? And what did you find some players, and where you think you got to go out and find some more players at position?
Well, you got to do what everybody else doing. We got to hit that grad transfer portal, not the transfer portal, the grad transfer portal. You got to find those kids. We got to grow up fast, meaning that there's a lot, especially on defense. I think that's where we were hurting that a little bit more. Offensively, we did well, I think, because of the quarterback. I do have one of the best quarterbacks in HBCU football that's in my pocket. He did a really good job, and I think I inherited about 4 or 5 receivers that were really, really good wide receivers and a running back that could run the ball. But we had to upgrade it to O-line, the D-line, and I think that's where it starts, in the trenches. We've got to do that. And I like to tell people all the time, I'm more of a general manager now, and I know how to put the pieces together. We have to find the right pieces at the right time and in the right places. And I think that we're close. I think we're on schedule. But I think that we're all realistic about, let's say this, Clark Atlanta has been terrible for 2 decades. There's been a lot of great coaches that sat in this seat that I'm sitting in now. And we can't say it was all coaching. But you had to work through the nepotism, the different things that's within the organization and how it's structured. And being that I was an administrator who hired vice presidents and been into strategical, strategies that go along with, I transitioned Stillman in 1999 as an assistant coach from NAIA to Division II. When I got to Allen, I did the same thing again. We transitioned from NAIA to Division II. We got to work to make sure that when kids transfer or come to grad school, they are in position that they don't lose 100 hours when they transfer. You got to make sure that the transcripts are evaluated properly, that when you get to the first game, that your 3 quarterbacks are not ready to play because somebody hasn't evaluated their transcripts. Those things don't happen by chance. That happened because maybe somebody don't want the football program to grow. Maybe somebody not behind it the way you think they should be behind it. Maybe it's just a forefront that everybody think that maybe I'm competing with Spelman, Morehouse, and everybody else, and I want to be an academic-based school and not a football-based school. But as I said again, I have a president that I stand behind. I was worked for him at Miles. I saw the vision that he had for Miles, and Miles is still doing well under what he did at Miles. Miles had no championships before he came there. They had 11 in all sports since he, from his time there till he left. Now we came over here. The basketball team was suffering. We flipped the switch in that. They won the SIAC championship this year. The tennis team just got the doubles. They won. They lost to Tuskegee, but they made it to the final. The volleyball team was horrible. Now the volleyball team is thriving. It finished like second or third in the conference this year. And now it's football turn to step up to the plate. I feel like the way he leads us, the way he's a winner. Put it that way. He's a winner. And when you got a president that's a winner and he believes in what he's trying to accomplish, man, you can't help but to work for the guy. I think that President George Prince is an innovator, a game changer, and he's just what the Clark ordered. And I think I'm right on the menu right next to him. And I think they served up a real good recipe to be able to hopefully turn the tides of Clark Atlanta University. I'm not saying this could happen in 1 year. It may take 2 years, but we're talking about a decade, 2 decades, and 1 winning season in 2 decades.
Wow. Well, just to piggyback on the back of that, we always say on this show, winning starts from that office, the president's office. And when you go look back, and I always talk, Keaton, and tell my guys, the last 24 years in our conference, we've had so much turnover for coaches. You had Doug Williams win a national title in 99 and 2000. Then he came back in 2013 and won, 13 and won a championship and then get fired the next year. Of course, you know about me and LC winning championships and get let go. You had Broadway, who wanted to go back to North Carolina Central and end up going to North Carolina A&T. It's like when you win in HBCUs, it's then you're out. You know what I mean? And you're not out because you want to be out. You're out because it's some BS going behind it. And it's always come down to be personal for some reason. It's just sad to say, and that kind of piggybacks off of what you said. If it don't start from the president's office, if the president ain't gonna make a commitment to this program and then be able to understand not only the president but the athletic director that you're a behind the scenes guy. You know what I mean? The guys in front is your basketball coach, is your head football coach, is the guy that's the face of the university. And for
when you think
reason,
about,
you don't get that.
I'm sorry, Johnny. When you think about who we hire in the academic realm, most of those professors, if you really go back and look at them, they've been fired other places. They really didn't cut the cheese at certain institutions, and they get there. Most of them bitter, and they believe it's a war between academics and athletics that they can't coexist. at HBCU. There's plenty of money that come in from the games, man. I was at the SWAC championship game this year. I mean, not the SWAC championship, but the national championship game for HBCU football. The Georgia Dome, the celebration boat. The Georgia Dome was packed from wall to wall. I'm talking about colored folks was in there, and we spend money. I'm talking about we was in there deep. It was a sight to see. I took a picture of it. That's how much it is. Then you turn around, and I'm in a meeting at AFCA, and they said that game is going to be moved to a Wednesday or a Thursday. You think about that now. That game sold only next to, and I want you, correct me if I'm wrong, Rock and Bishop, because y'all might do your fact checks, but they're number 1, 2. The 2 games that outsold that game was the national championship game and the semifinal game. They outsold every bowl game that was played this year. So why do you think they moving it to Tuesday or Wednesday? Why do you think Deion is already gone when they left him out of Jackson State? Why do you think Willie Simmons and they offered him $500,000 to make sure he get out of FAMU? Why do you think we're being pulled off and we don't get the progress? You didn't see not one game, and I hate to make it about race, but you didn't see one spring game on ESPN this year, did you? Come on now. I need y'all to think. You know why we got to think that way? Because soon as you start building, the next coach that's hot on the market is the guy at Howard. They're going to fool around. If he goes back and he wins it again, he'll be gone. He'll be gone. To be the running back coach, I'd rather be the captain of a garbage truck than the first attendant on a luxury cruise liner. They don't want this to grow. Prime was making this become too prevalent. And now, even they gave him the $5 million. We need to talk about what's going on in Colorado right now. But Prime wasn't raised right to be no head coach and to run an organization of that level, of that magnitude, because he ain't had them opportunities to learn how to recruit, how to organize and not say the wrong things, because you got to dance. You got to be on that little string when they paying you $5 million now. Think about this now.
One thing, Coach, I came in as an HBCU fan with Deion, right? I hadn't been here 30 years or 40 years like a lot of you guys here. I'm just a good old football fan, and I love football, Coach. And the one thing I noticed in HBCU football, there is almost like a ceiling within their own organization. If you get too good, if you get too successful, if you get too popular, somehow they want to separate you from the success that you've achieved. And that's it. You can put Willie Simmons in that situation. You can put Deion in that situation. Johnnie Cole. For some reason, they want to separate the success from the football. I'm just talking about football from the institution, and separate that individual who caused that success from the institution. And I don't understand why they don't cultivate and continue to build pipelines to continue that success. They will hire. Okay, give you an example. They'll take a successful coach, right? Like at FAMU, Willie Simmons. They won't automatically hire his successor. The fan base had to almost have a revolt in order to get them to hire the natural successor to an already prestigious program. Like it had to almost be a fan revolt. It happens all the time in other aspects of football. If you have an uber successful program, the guy who has been the second in command is going to get that opportunity hands down. They don't even look outside in their situations like that. And so, Coach, that's another phenomenon that maybe you can explain, or have you experienced that where what do they see when Johnnie Cole moves on, when Willie Simmons moves on, when whoever moves on? Why can't they just say, okay, we already have stable success here. Let's go ahead and elevate this guy and give him an opportunity?
I just tell you, that's $1 million question. I left a successful program at Allen University. There was a guy sitting next to me, two guys, that could have easily took on that program and continued the success of Allen University. But they didn't even interview him, didn't even ask him, did he want the job? Not even a conversation piece. I don't have the answer to that, Rock. I just know, what did your mama preach to you when you got in school? What they always told you had to do? Go to school, right?
Go to school,
Go
do
to college.
well, make good
Do
grades.
well. Okay, in our world in Black college, they feel that there's a struggle between the academia world, and most of your presidents are academia people who have not played a sport, do not care about the sport. They will put more money into a band. Hear me when I say this. When I was at Allen University, they flew the band to Central State and all the people that the vice presidents, and we rode the bus.
Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Friday, April 26, 2024. Number 1, U.S. Congressman Donald Payne Jr. died this week after suffering a cardiac episode linked to diabetes complications. Succeeding his father, he represented Newark, New Jersey for 12 years, advocating for justice and transportation funding. His colleagues on the Congressional Black Caucus remember him as a champion for various social causes. Congressman Donald Payne Jr. was 65. Number 2, former executive producer Bill Schultz sued Al Roker Entertainment for allegedly violating diversity policies. Schultz claimed unfair termination in 2023 after criticizing the company's handling of a PBS DEI program. The lawsuit seeks $10 million in damages and legal fees. Al Roker Entertainment has not yet commented. Number 3, do you know what the color of your urine means? Standard urine color ranges from pale yellow to deep amber. This results from how diluted or concentrated the urine is. Pigments and other compounds in certain foods and medications can also change the color of your urine. Read more about it in today's newsletter. Number 4, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit ruled that the transgender middle schooler in West Virginia cannot be barred from participating in cross-country running and track with other girls. Since elementary school, the young girl has only participated in girls' sports, and she has a birth certificate that identifies her as female. She takes medication to block male puberty and is undergoing female puberty, which the court said was key to its decision. Number 5, Chantel Fendlater, founder of Gold and Water Company, uses handcrafted products to promote self-care. The company offers homemade soaps, body butter, oils, and more. Fendlater reminds customers her products promote the idea that you are the luxury. All right. Read more about this entrepreneur's path in today's Black Business Spotlight. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Life is a series of choices. Let's all choose to embrace uncertainty by letting things play out. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.
I won $500 on the lunch money for keeping up with the Jonas Bracket Challenge.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.